Hello and good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce myself. And before that, I would love to welcome all of you to this very interactive and informative session that K.I.T.E.S has organized today. So without mentioning K.I.T.E.S, this event would be totally incomplete. So a few lines about K.I.T.E.S organization. K.I.T.E.S Education is a platform for intelligent and skillful minds, comprising schools, educators, professional students, and their parents, and erudites corporate pillars to edify a revolutionary mechanism. We extend our services to the next rounds of education to create, enact, and establish new dimensions in education system for the common weal. We are researching the K-12 education by accelerating a grassroots movement, conglomerating stakeholders of education to foster pedagogically sound, ambitious, inspiring, plausible, innovation driven by knowledge, technology, and sportsmanship. Metamorphosis current educational system into a futuristic center of excellence to make every day count in each child's life by facilitating more creative opportunity-oriented environment, which is imperative for 21st century society and economy. The purpose of K.I.T.E.S is to assist children in realizing their true potential, passion, and purpose in life. K.I.T.E.S will aid students in their holistic development and be masters of K.I.T.E.S, which is knowledge, innovation, technology, entrepreneurship, and sportsmanship. For this, we will act as instrument to provide the children centric, passionate, skill-based, and hands-on practice learning. We find unique talent in every child by establishing equity in education. We create visionary leadership at every level with an ambitious and impactful education system that is globally effective. The integration and blend of the 5 pillars of growth, K.I.T.E.S can aid the students and teachers to grow above the gathering by preparing them for 21st century skills necessary for them to work in the contemporary world. Now, I think we have talked enough about K.I.T.E.S. So I would like to say a few words about today's keynote speaker, Mr. Dilbagh Singh. I would love to say that I have attended Mr. Dilbagh Singh's lecture already a few times before, and he is such an amazing visionary. Mr. Dilbagh Singh, first of all, I would like to welcome you and a little bit about Mr. Dilbagh Singh. Mr. Dilbagh Singh has 10 years of experience. Mr. Dilbagh Singh is the director of Brain Power Services Private Limited. He is a corporate trainer, counselor at heart, and a public speaker. He has an ample experience of training and counseling and guiding teachers and parents and students. With the team of Brain Power, he has served various schools and universities in Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and my own state, Jammu and Kashmir. He has been conducting interactive training sessions and workshops with parents, students of each and every group. Now, I would like to mention a few schools and universities he has worked in. They include Oak Ridge International School, Cambridge International School, Jalandhar, St. Paul's International School, Delhi Public School, Khanna, Punjab University, Punjab Agriculture University, Chitkara University, Baddi University, Dej Bhagat University, and many, many more. Now, I would like to mention his expertise in rounds of students, which includes peer pressure, digital world, anger management, stress management, time management, empathy, and many, many more. And for teachers, it includes how to be an effective counselor, role of a teacher as a leader, empathy and social communication, communication skills, how to handle attention deficit, hyperactive children, motivational interactive sessions, power of positive thinking, and many, many more. Mr. Dilbagh Singh, I once again welcome you to this interactive and informative session. And now I would like to hand over the stage to you. All the very best, sir, and thank you for being such a great inspiration in our lives.
Thank you very much for Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, you are.
Thank you. Thank you for such a lavish, introduction. Thank you very much. So all over the India and the teachers from even abroad, I welcome all of you on this, particular occasion where we all are, together and talking about how we can improve our education, how we can improve the pupils whom we teach, the students. So wonderful. I once again thanks, Kite Education for, you know, hosting this particular event and bringing so many people together, you know, on one platform where we can discuss, we can interact. Yes, I do have plenty of experience working in schools, colleges, teaching myself, as a TGT teacher, as a PGT teacher, both, right? And then later on in the college for a decade, and now of late, like last almost for 12, more than 12 years, been working with the corporates, teachers, educators. So this is, what I believe one of the best suitable time to discuss about or to, throw some light on emotional intelligence. This is the second wave of corona, and we cannot be unaffected by this particular pandemic, right? The same days I can recall 2020, when people were so much, worried. They were under a lot of threat, a lot of fear, uncertainty, volatile situation, vulnerable situation, unambiguous. I mean, it was like a different experience altogether. It was scary. Yeah, I used to work at that time, and I would go to rehabilitation center. I served throughout the lockdown. I did not stay at home even one day. I kept working, not from home. I kept visiting various rehabilitation centers because number of students who were taking treatment. I call them students. I mean, yes, in the doctor's language, we can call them patient. They were stuck where they were. So they were in various rehabilitation centers in Punjab and Himachal, and I made a special pass and kept visiting and giving counseling to those various hundreds of people who got stuck up. They remained where they were. It was a very difficult situation. Now after 1 year, again the same April, same mid-April, and second wave of corona, severe, more severe, and lots of casualties and problems and challenges. So right time to throw some light on this topic, emotional intelligence, specifically for the educators. And who better can understand this topic than you were the teachers, because you are the people, or I can say I include myself in this profession. So specifically you people who are, you are dealing students directly, you are handling them, you are handling their emotions, you are, you're teaching them how to survive. So there are four C's which I will be specifically talking about, that is critical thinking, and then communication, and then creativity, and then collaboration. So collaborative skills, critical thinking skills, creative skills, and communication skills. These are the four C's which are highly prioritized during these particular, years, or you can say in last couple of years. So, dear friends, lot to be discussed on this emotional intelligence. What is emotion? If I talk about emotion, it's a mental state that arises simultaneously. It's a mental state that arises spontaneously as well as simultaneously, rather than through conscious efforts, and is often accompanied by psychological, and physiological changes, isn't it? It's a mental state that arises all of a sudden, spontaneously. Of course, it is backed by the trigger, but it happens spontaneously rather than through conscious efforts. For example, if I want to become angry, I cannot become angry until unless I'm a trained actor. Only then I can become angry. Or I cannot weep all of a sudden. I cannot laugh all of a sudden. I need few triggers. And after those triggers, it happens spontaneously. Those triggers are external, and sometimes those triggers are internal. Sometimes you might have experienced that while sitting, and all of a sudden you remember, or you recall something specific from your childhood, and all of a sudden you start laughing, and people ask you why you're laughing. You say, no, nothing, it is just I remembered something, because those memories are already there in your subconscious mind, and sometimes these are dug up at a specific point of time. So it's a mental state. What are emotions? Mental state that arises spontaneously rather than through conscious efforts, and is often accompanied by psychological and physiological changes. For example, joy, sorrow, laugh, weep, anger. These all are, various emotions which we experience almost every day, so many times in a day. These are called emotions. And during those emotions, we have those psychological as well as physiological changes. For example, if I'm angry, I feel anger. Then angry state of mind gives me palpitation, and my palpitations, it goes up. I may sweat out. I may stammer while speaking. My voice may become loud. You know, it changes my tonality. I know it's so many things happen. It changes in you. It brings a lot of changes in you. So whenever we are, happy, joyous mood, then we laugh, boisterous laugh, and all of a sudden, a lot of dopamine or those kind of, positive chemicals, you know, these are secreted in our brain, and whole physiology changes. Same happens in sadness. We receive some news, we get something, from some of our one, your near and dear one. So many deaths are taking place nowadays. In my own relations, I mean, few people have died whom even I trained. So all of a sudden that gloominess, creeps in, and you feel not to talk. You keep quiet, and all of a sudden you feel so low. So these all things are so important. So different places, different people, different triggers, and it brings different kind of emotions. So these are called emotion. Now, second step, if I move further quickly, feelings. And now, what are feelings? Yeah, intense feelings convert into emotions. But feelings are just like undercurrent. It's a just undercurrent. So sometimes those feelings you can even hide. You cannot hide your emotion. When those emotions or feelings are manifested on the surface, it changes into emotion. But feelings can be kept underneath. It can be kept under control. It happens so many times. Politicians are so good at it. So many people are so good at it. So many, even spiritual people who are on the spiritual journey, they can hold on to their feelings, or they can handle their feelings very well. So feelings are mental association and reaction to the emotions. For example, I feel anger about anything. That emotion may happen right now, and I become angry. What is this? Why you are doing it? Don't you know how to do it? This what you always do like this. I mean, you don't understand. So many times I have told you, so many times. Why you have done this? I mean, is it the way to do it? So this is an example I have just created out of my own acting skills. I'm a theatrist also. So, and all of a sudden somebody comes and says, okay, cool down, Dilbagh, cool down. You say, okay, no, yaar, it should not be done like this. And then you sit in this moment in a somber mood and gloomy, and you say, okay, yeah, it's okay, fine. Bring a cup of tea for me, or a coffee, or a glass of water, and you take it. And but now, once those emotions are gone, feelings stay there. Yeah, those feelings are mental association and reaction to the emotions. This is a student who always does like this, I know, always creates, ruckus in the classroom. I mean, these kind of students are, I mean, now this is happening inside. It's mental association and reaction to those emotions. Mental association are, integrate the emotions and thinking. Thought process comes, in. And now you start thinking about that event, and you're thinking about that past experiences, and you start cribbing, but it is not shown to anyone. And then we go to home, we go home, and at home, we stand and we sit, or we eat food. I'm eating food. My wife says me, Dilbagh, what's happening? I mean, you're not okay. Are you okay? I say, yeah, I'm okay. Now, at this time, those emotions are not, heavy, but underneath, feelings are there. And this can happen for hours, for days, for weeks, and it turns into mood, you know. And some people say that uh, I'm in mood. And this mood can be joyful, this mood can be angry. I mean, for example, Amitabh Bachchan was given a very good, title by the Bollywood, Angry Young Man. And Rajesh Khanna was given by a very good title, Romantic Hero. These were what? These were the various shades of their moods which were shown on the, screen. They are always in joyful mood. Like Shah Rukh Khan, he will always come chirpy, kuch kuch hota hai, hey Simran, hi, hey, come on, yeah. He's always, bubbling and joyful and cheerful and romancing with the girls and moving around and singing songs. So the moment that kind of and Nana Patekar comes on the screen, everybody start, okay, अब आएगा ना मजा यार, ये बंदा है ना हमेशा somber mood में, एक तरह के एक स्टाइल बन जाता है, टाइप हो जाते हैं हीरो भी. So the same way we also carry our feelings for a long time. An example of feeling: resentment, guilt, dismay, self pity. These are feelings. And it happens to every one of us. We all are human beings. And we do experience these all feelings. So emotions, wider sense, these are the mental state that arises spontaneously rather than through conscious efforts, and often accompanied by physiological and psychological changes, but backed by a trigger. It can be external trigger, it can be internal trigger. On the other hand, those emotions, they go so high, and after some time it goes down, and feelings remain with us. And these feelings may remain with us for a longer and longer period of time. Some people forget those things in few minutes, then few hours. Some people may not forget in even in weeks and even years. So then one new word comes: emotional traits. That means when one specific mood prevails for a long period of time, that is called emotional trait. As I gave you the example of Mr. Bachchan or Mr. Rajesh Khanna, or Mr. Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, I'm giving these examples because, Guru Dutt, for example, was known for always sadness. His songs are always sad. So in the same manner, in our own lives also, we have also specific mood. You can recollect in your own classroom, there are a number of students who remain always gloomy. There are few students who are always angry. There are a number of students who remain joyful. And there are a number of colleagues who have these kind of different shades, different traits. Because when one particular mood prevails for a long period of time, it converts into our, emotional trait. So my dear friend, first I talked about emotions, then I talked about feelings, emotions, a big picture: anger, sorrow, joy, laugh, weeping. You know, these are emotions which cannot be hidden, but underneath, feelings, moods, and those moods and feelings create traits, emotional traits. And these all things we all experience, we all know it. But the wonderful thing is this: emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence simply means the ability to make healthy choices, the ability to make healthy choices based on accurately identifying, understanding, and managing our own feelings and those of others. That is called IQ. That is called EQ, intelligence quotient, the ability to make healthy choices. It's very important because we are always given choices in our life. Those healthy choices based on accurately identifying, understanding, and managing our own feelings and of those of others. Because emotions we can experience, others also experience, but we can understand those emotions, we can understand those feelings which are underneath. It is not known by anyone, it happens inside. And then, rather than flowing with it as an emotionally intelligent person, you can always, change this pattern. You can always change those, emotions. You can always handle it. That's why, as Eric Byrne in his book Transactional Analysis, he talks about various different things, that there is a child in us. I think many of you might have read this particular therapy. It's a therapeutic manner also. It's a therapy also, but it's a full concept in itself. Transactional analysis, TA. It simply means in my complete personality, there are three personalities in my one single personality. My the way I behave. First is my child. It is always with me. Second, my parent, whosoever parented me, or I lived under my mother, father, prime caregiver, my dadi, nani. It can be anyone whosoever brought us up. So that person is parent. So the same parent live in us. So some people have commanding nature. Those are called their parent. Because they have the attitude of this is right, this is wrong, this is not the way, this is not to be done like in this way. Why you are doing this? You are doing wrong way. You are doing right. Always nagging and bragging. That is a parental attitude. And on the other hand, child always flow in the emotions. If something is taken away from you, then you all of a sudden you are very very angry. If something is given to you, you are very happy. If things are happening according to you, you are joyful. If things are not happening according to in your way, then you are not in good mood or feelings. So that child is always there. And third one is an adult. An adult, because child and parent both start developing in us just with the same way, the way we are born. The day we are born, our senses start working on parent and child, because it is with us. Even few studies have said that it happens in even prenatal stage also. Once the child is in the womb, he starts or she starts feeling so many things. And later on these are manifested. So these kind of, then adult is very important. So according to Eric Byrne, who is adult? Who live in here and now, who is not flow, he doesn't flow in the emotion. वो हमेशा इमोशन को समझ सकता है, वो इमोशन को अंडरस्टैंड कर सकता है, वो इमोशन को बहुत इजीली हैंडल कर सकता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एन एडल्ट. और हमारी आम भाषा में बोला जाता है कि ही इज अ मैच्योर गाय. He can handle pressure, he can handle stress, he can manage his emotion, he can even help others to manage their emotion, because emotions are mental stage. It arises spontaneously after getting the triggers. So what I would like to talk about here, about emotional intelligence. How emotionally intelligent am I? As an educator, do I need it? Yes, I need it. Because once those things are not given to us, it's very difficult, because you handle your students in the class. But before coming to that, because we have a short period of time, what I would like to talk about here, intrapersonal skills. So let's first I talk about myself. Am I emotionally aware person? Do I manage my emotions? Do I, do I have the ability to make healthy choices based on accurately identifying and understanding and later on managing my own emotion? That is the basic agenda of this session. Intrapersonal communication, my own communication with myself. I'll give you one example. You know, it's a beautiful story. Once it was evening, not evening, it can be late evening, you can say it was almost night, 9 o'clock. And it's a huge complex where we stay, and Dilbagh stays there, and you also stay there. And there's a big, huge garden in between that locality, and there's a huge lamp post, and it's throwing light in the area of 20 or 30 square yard, area. The lot of light. It's called floodlight. The way you watch IPL matches and you enjoy those IPL matches. So there's a beautiful garden, beautifully lit, fully flooded with the lights, and Dilbagh is searching something. He's searching, he's moving around and he's looking for something. He's searching, and one of you come to that place, and you ask me, yes, what you are searching? I said, I have lost my keys. I'm searching my keys. And that person says, okay, I will help you to search those keys. And he also starts, searching along with me. And it is 20 square yard. It's not a very big one. I mean, smaller area with fully flooded lights. Each blade of the grass is visible. It is so strong, it is so well lit. One other person comes. He also asks, what you two guys are doing here? We say, nothing, we have lost our keys. And he said, oh my god, I will help you. And in this way, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 20, around 20 to 25 people come there. They are from neighborhood, and they ask what you are doing, Dilbagh. And I tell everyone that I'm searching for my keys, which I have misplaced, I have lost. And after 15, 20 or 30 minutes, one of them comes and asks, yeah, Dilbagh, we all are spreaded all around, and each and every corner of this area is visible. Can you please tell me where you lost it? I said, actually, I lost my keys inside the room. He said, wow, inside the room? And you are searching here? I said, there's enough light here. The electricity of my room has got failed. There's electricity failure and there's pitch dark inside. So I thought I may find those keys outside because it is well flooded lights. Oh, come on, Dilbagh. Are you really serious? Are you kidding? I say, yes, I'm not kidding. It's inside so much of dark. Come on. They ask one of them to bring a matchbox, and they bring a matchbox. They go inside the room, such like this room, 12 by 12, and one of them, he lights that matchstick, and with the one matchstick, in a flight in the room of 12 by 11, you can experience, I have already experienced it. So he says, there are the keys on the floor, and he lights another matchstick and asks me, is there any candle? I say, yeah, there is a candle in the kitchen. And I groping and going to the kitchen and bringing that candle and then lighting that candle. And then the same friend tells me, Dilbagh, if you have lost something inside, don't search it outside. You need to search here inside. You lost your keys inside, my dear. You should have searched your key outside. I said, but there's a lot of light outside. He says, okay, it's of no use. Your keys have been lost inside. It can be found only inside. So, dear friends, dear educators, if I need to improve myself, Dilbagh needs to improve himself, or Dilbagh wants to grow in his life. So Dilbagh needs to see inside. So that is called intrapersonal skills. I need to communicate with myself. I need to see my own pattern. I need to keep a keen observation on myself. I need to keep myself in check. And but in this world of hectic schedule, running around, looking after the family, looking after your business of teaching, you're going to school, you're attending lectures, you're delivering lectures, you are checking the copies and tests, and so many work a teacher, an educator, a principal, a managing director of a school, whatsoever position you are working, which you are busy. But in that busy schedule, sometime we cannot keep the inventory, we cannot keep ourselves in check, and sometimes we flow with the things, and these emotions, specifically negative emotions, are more prevalent these days. Because once you see yourself, our mind is, it's very very, it's a ticklish thing. M- my mind is my servant, or am I the master of my mind? Um, uh, my mind is, who is working. That is very important. There's a very beautiful story. There was a great, Sufi saint known as Junaid. That Junaid was very, 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 very intelligent, and of course, Sufi saint simply means a spiritual person. Once he was going through the bazaar with his own disciples, and there were 5, 6 disciples along with Junaid, and there is a one cow man, and he's holding the that he's holding a rope, and with that rope a cow is tied, and he's just moving forward, and that followed by that cow. So now he asks his disciples, can you look that cow, man? They say, yes, we can look. He says, who is the master and who is the slave? He says, everybody says, it's very simple. uh, this man who is walking with the rope in his hand, he's the master, and the cow is following him, so cow is the slave. Cow is the pet. Cow is is following him, so he's the master, and cow is following and slave. Or you can say that he has been this cow has been brought up, or has been reared by him. So this is very simple. He says, okay, I'll do one experiment. He calls that guy, cowboy, he calls him, come here. So he knows it, him, he comes there. So he picks one, Caesar, from one of the working, stitching is being done there, and he picks that one of that, and he cuts that rope. The moment he cuts the rope which is tying uh, cow, the cow starts running in another direction. And once the cow starts running in the another direction, that the person who is holding that rope, he also starts running towards that cow. And of course he's hurling, okay, what you have done, my dear? Oh, my cow is, you have done something wrong. And by screaming it, he runs away. Now Junaid again asks his disciples that, now you tell me, who is the master? Now it seems clearly, earlier the cow boy who was holding the rope, and cow was following him, it looked that he was the master and cow was the follower. But after he cut that rope, cow became the master, and cowman, he became, the slave. Same happens with us. Our mind is actually our slave. It's very simple. It is to be used for our own utility. But number of time, the same mind becomes our master, and it guides us, and we follow this. Once we follow our mind, so our mind is going in his own direction. The choices will be chosen by the mind only, and we will be simply following that mind. Here we need to practice in such a manner so that I can be the master of my own mind, because mind creates thoughts, and thoughts associate with the emotions, and those association of thoughts and emotions create further disturbances and further moods and further negative emotions, and those emotion keeps on multiplying, and sometimes it is underneath, sometimes these are manifested. So in the same manner, these things keep on moving. So my dear friends, we need to master our mind, because it's always stimulus and reaction, stimulus and reaction. Have you understood this concept? Yes, you have understood this concept. I will just give you one. Most of you might have gone through the B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, or M.Ed, Masters of Education. In that, there is one classical conditioning. You may classical conditioning. So in classical conditioning, what happens? Pavlov did a wonderful experiment with this mind and stimulus and response, stimulus and response. Because stimulus sometimes are external, stimulus sometimes are internal. As I told you, that emotions can be erupted by external stimulus or internal stimulus. Internal stimulus are related with my own life experiences, but sometimes external stimulus triggers my internal stimulus, and then it is multiplied and aggravated. One very good example of Pavlov, if you can all recall those example of Pavlov, that he kept 10 dogs in a room, chained and caged, and he he kept one door, and he served food on the first day, and all dogs started salivating, because we understand this word, everyone, all the mammals or human beings, we understand the whole word by five senses: touch, taste, smell, see, and hear. Touch, taste, smell, see, and hear. These are the five senses with which we experience this whole word. So these dogs are sitting, food is served, and dogs started salivating. Day one, he served food, dogs salivating. It's natural. Stimulus, response. Stimulus, response. Day two, he served food, dogs salivating. Day three, he served food, dogs salivating. Day four, he served food different times. He served food at different times. Sometime after the gap of 5 hours, sometime after the gap of 8 hours, sometime the gap of 12 hours. But he kept doing this exercise regularly. So again, 10th days, he served food, dogs salivating. And stimulus could be, sight or smell. These are the two stimulus with which those dogs started salivating, drooling those saliva. And on the 12th day, he rang bell. He served food, and dogs salivating. 12th day or 13th day, he rang bell. He served food, dogs salivating. 13th day, he rang bell. He served food, dogs salivating. 14th day, he rang bell. He served food, dogs salivating. 18th day, he served. 20th day, he rang bell. He served food. Every time, whenever he served food, he rang bell. He rang bell, followed by the food serving. On 25th day, he rang bell and served food, dogs salivating. 25th, 26th, 28th, and 30th day, he rang bell. He did not serve food, and dogs started salivating. Next day again, number of times he only rang bell, but he did not serve food, and dogs started salivating. Amazing. It was amazing. So the number of concepts of teachings are based on this particular experiment, because food was not served. Food got only associated with the ringing of bell, and he practiced it. The dogs got practiced, and after practicing it so many times, ringing of the bell, serving food, ringing of the bell associated with serving food, ringing of the bell associated with serving food, and after few weeks, only ringing of bell could help to drool that saliva from the mouth of the dogs. It was amazing discovery. Yes. So that means unnatural stimulus can also create, response in our body. And as I told you, the mental state that arises spontaneously rather than conscious efforts and is often accompanied by, physiological and psychological change that is called emotion. That's why sometime watching movies, like I could still recall that when I was used to watch Sholay movie, and when Amitabh Bachchan, Jaya, Jay Dev, Jay is dying and Viru is, with him, and they are both, having that emotional scene, and I wept so many times. Even I can see people nowadays. Even I was watching one movie few days back, and all of a sudden my eyes became moist. I forgot that it is a silver screen. It's a television. And on the television, one picture, one movie, one scene is going on. But how my mind is conditioned and how it is so deeply engrossed, and my eyes became moist. And I say, oh, Dilbagh, it's a movie. It's a movie, nothing. I mean, it's not in real life. But how my the whole physiology, the whole psychology changed, and I started, you know, weeping. My eyes got moist, and so many times it happens. Something is happening to somebody, and I became emotional. That is what called spontaneous, unconsciously it happens, and that is the one of the biggest example I have experienced, that there's a difference between dog and human being, because our frontal cortex have 100 billion nerve cells, and each nerve cell interact with one another, and these are having synapses, and these, this 1.5 kg of brain, one of the heaviest one in the among the all mammals. The human is having 1.5 kg of the three brain: reptilian, limbic, and frontal cortex, neocortex, human brain. And that neocortex is wonderful. Left brain, right brain, and there is a corpus callosum. I mean, there are so many things which help us. That's why we are so aware. Once we become aware, my dear friends, all of a sudden we start managing those emotions. You know, so many people, mob lynching is happening. People are, you know, so emotional. I mean, nowadays you can experience your students, they are not able to handle their emotions. They lack resilience also. They lack that kind of, handling those emotions, because they are pampered sometime. They are given the things on the platter sometime, and so many things are given before the right time. So many things change our thinking pattern. So my dear friends, if I talk about handling the emotion or bringing that emotional intelligence, simply means the ability to make healthy choices based on accurately identifying, understanding, and managing my own feelings or emotions and those of others. That is called emotional intelligence. And here we are different than mammals. Dogs, experiment was, done on the dogs, but nowadays there are so many external stimulus happening all around. you know Wage cuts are there, of course, external factor. Whether schools will be doing, what kind of work they will be doing in the coming future, again an external trigger. How my salary is going to be affected, am I going to survive in the coming years, again a question. These all are stimulus, internal, external. Sometimes it is said outside and experienced inside. Sometimes it is generated from inside because of my own past experience. So many things are happening around, and you can see media. That media is making so much of, fun of us. It's making fun of us, I tell you. So there are two perspectives of today's session. First, my own perspective. So my focus today is only on my own perspective, intrapersonal skill. How do I communicate with myself? How do I manage my own emotions? For example, so many things happens around you. Media, you just see the media. So many processions are happening, protests are happening, and how media cover. Sushant Rajput case is there. One Sushant Rajput case was discussed, was not discussed, it was, what I would say, I mean, tore upon. It was tore upon. It was just done like, I mean, they could have done it somewhere, you know, like this, like this, like this, like this. I mean, Riya Chakravarti, Sushant Rajput, this, that, far, Demkara, yeah, oh, now media is running around. Okay, come on, ये देखिए वहां पर इतना आग लगा, वहां पे धुआं उठ रहा है, वो देखिए वहां पर वही गोली चली, वो देखिए वो कोई एक आदमी मरा है, वो पुलिस वहां पर भाग रही है, पुलिस वाला blah 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 blah. So much is happening and shown on the television, and we are glued to the television whole of the day. We're watching it, those scary scenes, and the small children also, your students also, the student of fifth class, the student of sixth class, the student of, so many students, they all are moving around, and those students are so scary. So many cases come to me of those students and asking me that we are experiencing panic attacks nowadays. So many students are experiencing anxiety disorder. It's really heartening to know it. Why? Our movies, media, mass media, social media, hacking our brain, our mind. Who is the master? It's not only hacking of computers. Computers are not hacked, my dear friend. Softwares are not hacked only. Our mind is also hacked. It has already been hacked. AI is working so strongly, artificial intelligence, a logarithm intelligence. Our students are in jeopardy. They are in real danger. Reason, they are being driven by others. Earlier it was only peer pressure. We were scared of the peer pressure. That peer pressures, but now peer pressure is a very small thing. Now the media pressure, now the social media pressure, now the print media pressure, now the digital media pressure, now artificial intelligence, so many things. So your self perspective today should be on how to manage my own emotion. And I know you all are worthy teachers and you have been doing it. You all are wonderful people. I know character of a nation is built in the classroom. Yes, it's a fact. Why am I so happy today? How can I manage my emotion? Because I was well managed and handled by my teachers, my worthy teachers. But nowadays, our students are not handled only by the teachers or the parent. There are few other agencies also who are hacking the mind of these students. Video games, violent video games, then media, then movies, then singers, so many people around. So, my dear friends, now I would like to invite you to share your experiences. How do you think and how do you, feel about it? And what are your views on your own emotional intelligence, your own emotions? How do you distinguish your emotion and feeling? Do you think you have a particular emotional trait, whether it is negative or positive? Because nothing is negative or positive. One thing sure, according to the psychology, it is simply an emotion. For example, fear fear is an emotion, and without fear we would have died thousands of years back only, if there had it been no fear. It's because of fight and flight we are still surviving. Because if I'm moving in the grass, if I feel there is a snake, I will run away. If there is a tiger, I will run away, I will climb a tree, or I will try to hide myself and I will save myself because of the fear. And there is anger also. Sometimes anger is also required. So in that way, don't judge yourself. Feelings, emotions are emotions. These are human emotions. But can I keep those emotions under check? That is important. Can I can I keep that balance? Na zyada, na kam, some balance. So I would like to invite the participants to kindly unmute yourself and give your introduction. I would like to give 10 to 15 minutes to you people, because you have your own experiences. But so far what we have discussed, stimulus, reaction. But once there is a stimulus, two things: you may react, you may respond. Yeah, choice is yours, because the whole world can take away everything from you: your job, your wealth, your health. So many things may happen to you, but freedom to choose always lie with you. Viktor Frankl, written in the book In the Search of Meaning of Life. When this man, Viktor Frankl, a great psychiatrist, got trapped into the Nazis camp, he stayed there for 3.5 years. One of the renowned psychiatrists, he wrote a book on logotherapy, and the title of the book is In the Search of Meaning of Life. And he stayed in those concentration camp. He saw people dying in front of him, but he said, yes, he have written it very clearly, that the world may take away everything away from you, because he lost his family, he lost his wife, he lost his parents, he lost his 5 brothers and sisters. He said, after losing everything in my life, my freedom to choose was always with me till the last breath I would have experienced. Whether I need to be a compassionate, happy, joyful, or I want to be angry, always cribbing, blaming, resentful. It is all my choice. It's all my choice. So, freedom to choose, nobody can take away from you. That is the basic fundamental of emotional intelligence, that freedom to choose always lie with me. Now, I would like to invite you, because you all are worthy educators. Uh, Kindly come forward, unmute yourself, or I would ask the organizer, uh, please unmute your mic and turn on your video and kindly participate. What do you think? How do you manage your emotions? Because your experience, आपके अनुभव ज्यादा important है ना. How do you experience? That is more important. What do I experience? What others experience? What other experience? These things come later on. First is, what is my own experience? My experience with my own life. Kindly unmute yourself, uh, switch on your video mode, and kindly come forward with your own uh, ideas, your own, speak up, speak out your own mind. Yes, please. There are around, I think, 30 participants here, and you can come out with your own experiences. You're like, how do you experience these emotions? Because it is something intrapersonal. It is something very important. What I believe the most important thing today is emotional intelligence. IQ, we may live with the same IQ, no problem. IQ can be of 70, 80. 70 is on the last edge. After 70, there are some special abilities, but 75, 80, 90, 100, 110, we can live with any type of IQ. But EQ is more important. Both are important, but to live a wonderful life, a peaceful life, we need emotional quotient. And EQ can be improved upon. IQ is not possible to improve, it remains same, but EQ can be enhanced. Okay, kindly unmute yourself. Yes, kindly unmute yourself and come out with. I mean, is there any uh, problem of unmuting yourself?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, right now, you very rightly said that EQ is far more important than IQ. So, sir, then, like, how, okay, we can observe a person and we can understand that EQ needs to be improved or whatever, but how can we make that particular person understand it? Like, are you getting what am I trying to say?
Actually, at present, my question is my own perspective. That's a very valid question. What you asked, I will just answer this in the end, of course. But here, my focus is on the self perspective, my own perspective. Do I
So,
understand my emotions?
about
Yes.
self perspective also, the only way to improve my emotional intelligence is to be mindful about my actions and my thoughts. Is that the only way?
So how do you whenever day to day life, in day to day life, of course, being a teacher, being an educator, it's very, it's not easy job, so how do you manage your emotions? I mean, what is your methodology to, to curb over those things, or to handle your negative emotions and changing into positive emotion? Every person has its own coping mechanism, and what I believe, you all worthy teacher have your own coping mechanism. I would like to listen to you, that how do you manage your emotions, and how do you become such a great educator and manage yourself? Because with your experience, we can learn. All of us who are listening can learn. So that's my take. Yes, ma'am, please. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Sir, like in my case, at least I practice to keep my own personal emotions aside when I am in the classroom and try to be empathetic and try to put myself in the other person's situation and then evaluate the situation and then react. Like this is what I practice.
Good. Here, one question, because it's not a counter question, because you took courage. Courage is also an emotion. Courage is also an emotion, and you took courage to unmute yourself and you exchange the ideas. So here, one more question from my side: that when you put those emotion aside, do these emotions disturb you later on? I mean, do you feel that those emotions affect you in your other day to day life? I mean, does it happen sometime that those kind of negative emotions sometime are, those happens in the with the family members, and sometimes those frustrations, or kind of, does it happen, or it doesn't happen?
So sometimes it does, sometimes it definitely does, but it like maybe throughout practice now it has reduced or it has become almost rare. But yes, now I can manage my emotions. I can
Right.
just matlab, I can sort it out. No, not at this time. Likewise.
Beautiful. It means what you answered me in the beginning, or what you exchanged your thoughts in the beginning: empathy. You used this word empathy. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So what I can take from this particular your sharing means that empathetic attitude has changed something within you. So you are empathetic towards others. So some students does any or one of the student, that does any kind of mistake or mischievous activity, you feel empathetic rather than becoming angry. So that empathetic attitude has made you that much of, kind of a tolerant person. So those emotions of others do not overpower you, and you do not carry it to the from your workplace to your home. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you very
And
much for your.
surprisingly, like when we start being empathetic, or when I started understanding the emotions of the other person, somehow it changed me as a person. It made me a better person. That's what I feel.
Yes, beautiful. Now look, how the interactions, start learning. You asked me wonderful question that how we can change the emotion of other person, or how can we teach other people. This is the way we need to talk to the student, and we can talk to these tiny tots. Even a student of 10 years old understand the things nowadays. This is 21st century, and most of the students are quite smart, specifically in urban or semi-urban, even in the rural area. I mean, some of the rural area, but semi-urban people. So the way we are communicating, the same way if you communicate with transparency, honesty, integrity, students start changing it. And what students learned, I mean, for example, you teach a class for a year. Those students observe you. Those students look at your behavior. Those students watch you so minutely. What kind of dress you wear? How do you talk? How do you walk? How do you behave? And then, after 6 months, all students have those kind of, mimicry for every teacher. That this particular teacher, yaar, wo to itna khadus hai na, wo to bolta hi aise hai. Because I'm a teacher, yet still I go and talk to a lot of students. वो कहता सर वो that particular teacher, सर वो तो इतने गंभीर है ना, उनका तो नाम ही हमने गंभीर सर रखा हुआ है ना, नाम तो उनका सुदर्शन है, बट वो इतने गंभीर रहते हैं ना. So students understand it so well. Who remains angry, who remains frustrated, who remains how. सर वो सर तो हमेशा सुस्ती रहते हैं जी, उनकी तो सुस्ती छाई रहती है वो. अरे वो मैम, वो तो सर इतने अच्छे मैम है ना, भाई गॉड, वो इतना अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं ना हमें. सर उनको ना हमारी फीलिंग को थ्रू कर देते हैं, है ना, वो कभी भी
And
स्क्रीम नहीं. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई थिंक यू आर practicing in your
yes, sir.
professional life.
And
And that is a.
that is what only stays in the mind of the child. Like they
Yes,
don't remember what topic you taught, they don't remember what
yes,
subject it was, but yes, lifelong they will remember you as a person, the
yes.
quality.
What's your name, ma'am?
Ma'am, sir, Namrata.
नम्रता. थैंक यू मैम, मिस नम्रता, वंडरफुली. देखिए, आपके सवाल में ही आपका जवाब है. आपको आप योर स्टूडेंट्स आर ऑब्जर्विंग यू, एंड दे नेम यू. They always tell, I mean, this is a teacher who understands us. The person who understands others, and he knows very well that in that particular age we were also like this only. Yeah, we were also naughty. Sometimes we were also mischievous. Sometimes we were also sometimes even there are few students who are kind of they cross their limits also sometimes. So there you need to be little bit sincere. Sometimes little bit you need to show your anger also. But students know whether you really get angry or you simply show your anger. They know that there is a compassion behind that anger, and that is the way they learn, because they imitate you, they observe you, they imbibe whatever you do, and in this way they learn. So the best way to teach someone is to implement that specific trait on yourself, that specific habit on yourself. For example, if there is a teacher who is fitness freak, who loves fitness, who looks always fit, energetic, and always bubbling with the joy, students always also become energetic. They also start behaving in the same manner, and these are the things we exchange. That's why I say digital media cannot replace a teacher. I still salute my teachers. I mean, the people who taught me in the small classes, in the nursery, in the first, second, third standard. Even I don't remember their names, who taught me to write with my hands. But how easily we forget them. So teaching is one of the most noble profession in this world. Yes, we do not get that much of remuneration, but we get a lot of satisfaction, immense satisfaction. And 36 teachers are attending this session, and in the afternoon after having your classes, don't you think this, have I ever found such type of passion, such type of positive emotion? No, never. So this is a teacher. Corporates will always make some excuses. Other people will, government employee will ask always so many excuses, so many. But teachers will never ask for the excuses. They always very proactive, like you at the 4 o'clock. You might have, number of you might have woken up at 6 o'clock, 5:30, or even 5. But now, after even 10 hours, 12 hours, you are feeling so fresh and you are attending this session. Thank you, ma'am. Somebody else, please come out. I mean, it's I mean, it's always interaction which makes you, Zubair is there, I think. Zubair, can you switch on your video and you can share few things with us? Or anybody else? Please unmute yourself and
Sir,
yeah.
hello, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
What do we call someone who shows no emotions?
Can you little bit explain it?
Um, when we treat some student, uh, when we want to treat some student emotionally, but now in days, some students can't show their emotions. So how can we support to them?
Actually, very good question, because most of the students who do not show emotions, uh, most of those students who do not show emotions, uh, number of them are traumatized in their childhood. It's my personal experience, because I have worked with so many students who are suffering family abuses also.
Yes, yes, sir.
In some of the family, you will find a drunkard father who comes home, he creates ruckus, he beats up the mother, or he tries
Yes,
to
sir.
dominate everyone, and the child is shelled, terrified, petrified. When he comes to the school, he's emotionless. He's like this. You may even scold him, he will remain like this. You may even give one or few slaps also. Sometime in our days it happens, but he will again remain same. He will always. So these are the children who are from deep inside being traumatized. Their family environment is toxic, quite toxic. Sometimes there is so many quarrels between parents, there are so many differences in the parents, and there is abuse. That particular family is abused. It can be a drug abuse, it can be alcohol, it can be any prime emotion like anger, dominance. So the best way to handle such kind of student, you need to call the parents. You need to
Yes, sir.
call the parents, and you need to talk to the parents. Once you call the parents, dad and mom both, you will easily come to know that what kind of chemistry they enjoy. You would find it, because they also sometimes show off something else, but in reality they are different. But as a seasoned teacher, you will easily gauge what they do, how do they do, and talk to them about the severity of the situation, and talk to them about the child. Along with the child, you need to counsel family first. And as far as child is concerned, you need to be empathetic, as Namrita ma'am told, very wonderful word, empathetic
Yes,
and
sir.
compassion, unconditional love, because
Compassion.
that particular child has been already traumatized, neglected, or overburdened, or abused. You need to talk to that child with empathy, but you need lot of patience. You need lot of
Patience. Yes,
patience.
sir. Definitely.
Yes, yes. Patience is the
Thank you,
key,
sir.
but talking to the parents is very important. This is what I can tell
Yes,
you
sir.
from my
Definitely.
experience. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Beeta
sir.
Devi. You are Beeta Devi? Miss Beeta Devi.
Yes, yes, sir. I am Beta
Okay.
Devi Srivastav
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
from Dahrej.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Anybody
Yes,
else?
sir.
Kindly unmute
You have
yourself.
explained well the importance
Yes.
of emotions in teaching the students. Yes, sir. Emotions play a very important role in building the personality of students. Emotions also inspire them. Yeah, emotions may be good source of inspiration, but and I have always experienced it that when I start my students and touch their emotions, they respond well. They respond absolutely very well. But sometimes, and but sir, if they are from such families and that maybe they have no not very good sanskar, it means they take too much time to learn. But sir, how to handle the students whose families are very whose families do not support the teachers? That's the question. Sometimes families do not support the teachers. They do not come to school when they are called to come. When they are asked, they are requested so many times, but they do not come. That's the very critical thing in rural
I
area.
yes, I have myself experienced it. I have myself experienced it because when I was a teacher, I taught in Kumarganj. It is Narendra Dev Agriculture University, Kumarganj, Purvanchal of the Uttar Pradesh. So it is near Jagdishpur, near Ayodhya.
Yes,
So Jagdishpur, Ayodhya, it is almost I think 120 kilometers away from Lucknow. So there I taught in 1992, 92, 93, 94, 95. I was there working there as a TGT, trained graduate teacher, and there I faced the similar problem. There I can give you one very good solution. Number one, you need to talk to the teacher of all subjects of that particular child. These are not very common children. Sometimes you will find two or three in one class. You need to talk to the different students. You need to talk to the अलग अलग आपको सभी अध्यापकों से बात करनी पड़ेगी, सभी टीचर से बात करनी पड़ेगी, और उन टीचर से बात करके उस बच्चे के बारे में जानकारी लेनी पड़ेगी, और हर तरफ से उस बच्चे को कंपैशन के साथ लेकिन टफ लव में रखकर, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा समटाइम वी कैन नॉट गेट सो लेट लूज विद दैट काइंड ऑफ चाइल्ड, है ना, हमें उसे टफ लव में रहकर उसे हैंडल करना पड़ेगा। उसके साथ हाँ, मैं एक वर्ड दूंगा आपको, फॉस्टर्ड पेरेंट। आपको उसका फॉस्टर्ड पेरेंट बनना पड़ेगा, फॉस्टर्ड मदर बनना पड़ेगा, उसका आपको फादर बनना पड़ेगा, उसको उसी तरह ट्रीट करना पड़ेगा जैसे आप उसके बायोलॉजिकल पेरेंट तो नहीं हो, लेकिन पेरेंट की तरह ही। Always, I have seen a movie Ankush. I have seen so many movies. In those movies, things are told that these kind of tough personalities can be handled with love, with feeling of a parent. Feeling creates a lot of difference. These people are always down upon, they are looked down upon, they are always ill treated, they are always taunted by everyone. So you can work with the other teachers. You need to have a discussion with the all teacher, and this we have worked with number of school like in Chandigarh, Shamrock, Oak Ridge International, Loreto Tara Hall in the Shimla, and so many places I have worked with the teacher, where we need to have a combined effort of all the teacher. Because suppose you are working very well with the same child, but other three teachers are not working with the same tuning, then that child is not going to change. We need to go for a collaborative effort. Only then we can bring that child to that level. This what I can tell you with my experience.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I agree with
Thank
you.
you.
And
Thank you.
I have also heard that the self-control is necessary. Sir,
Thank you.
sir,
Sir, good
I
afternoon.
want
Yes. Somebody else?
Yes, sir. Sir, emotion is a
Yes.
part of our life. We cannot see the emotion, but we have feel it.
Yes, please carry on. Hello. Miss Gurmeet?
Ji, sir.
Yes. Kindly complete your
Yes, I said
talk.
that emotion and feeling are just a part of our life. It is a backbone of life. We cannot see that emotion and feeling, but we have feel it.
Yes.
और
Sure.
जैसा यस एंड सर जैसा बताया मैम ने कि पेरेंट्स डीमोटिवेट है इफ वी हैव गिव एनी टास्क टू द
that children, and if we have motivate their children, that children will be improved very, very well.
Right. For example, you can give him some petty
Some
task of,
duties, yes, special task.
handling your classroom. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
please carry on.
Yes, we have
Please
given
carry
some
on.
duties, sir. We have given some duties, like he was absent regularly in the class. So we have give you take, you were the monitor, you was manage the class, you were take attendance in the class. So we have, if we have give some duties to that student, if and we have been motivate हर चीज के लिए सर उनको आगे करेंगे तो सी will be change, सर उनकी लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ तो चेंज आएगा ही आएगा सर.
Sure, sure. Sure, very good. You are talking about extrinsic motivation, right? One is intrinsic motivation which we get from inside, but these children do not have those resources because, as first ma'am talked about it, she talked about sanskara, sanskar. So those sanskar they might have not gotten from their home, but with the help of your compassion, love, and by giving them the responsibility, because once you give them responsibility, they feel responsible and they respond to the situation, because they are everywhere rejected. But somebody start giving those responsibility, they start feeling good. I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you,
Thank
Ms.
you, sir.
Gurmeet. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. So now,
Oh,
after discussing, with yes, Chalet, Miss Chalet,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Good afternoon, sir. First, I
Good
want to
afternoon.
compliment you for a wonderful session we all had with you. And let me introduce myself. I am Shelly, PGT English Senior Coordinator from New Delhi. And I have a very common question. I think we all are going through the same phase. Class 10 boards are cancelled and class 12 are postponed. Now we all had tried our level best. We have given them the perfect, preparations, training, everything. Because this year I was appointed as CBSE observer, and I managed to conduct all the board practicals. Okay, and we were just preparing the children for the boards. But suddenly, after the circular and also the declaration of the summer vacation, because even all schools are closing from Monday onwards. Okay, so somehow I feel the zeal of the students towards the examination is a bit demotivated. you know the motivation level, if I talk about, that is dropped down. The psychological level, if I talk about, that is the thing which we have to play on. See, we keep on doing the pep talk, we keep on motivate the child, we keep on motivate the parents also by the rural career counseling and all. But I just want you to please give one positive message, one positive thought, so that how to take out the children and the parents from the second wave of pandemic, so that they don't remain under that much of stress, and they need to be positive. And we all should feel, yes, whatever is happening, it is happening for the good, and their career is not on stake, the education is not on stake, and we will all win like the warriors. So that is one positive thing I just want to know from you, if it is possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shelley. Sure. Look, when I see the thing in my perspective, जो मेरा अनुभव है, my
Yeah.
experience at present, because you always tell the things by your own experiences. So as per the same experiences with, because my daughter, she's also 16 years old and she's studying in, she has already appeared in the plus one. Here role of parents come has to come. Reason, one very important thing I would like to discuss with you, in a short and precise manner. When the examination of 10 plus 1 was offered to the student, my daughter is studying in DPS, and they gave two options. One, come to the class and appear in offline exams. Second option, online exams. Now my daughter gave me a form, dad, this is a form, and I do not want to go for this particular offline exam. I would like to appear in online exam, because all my classmates, 78 classmates, I am the only one who is offering for the offline. You're asking me to offer for offline. I said, look, Ashi, if you want to understand what is resilience, if you want to understand how to come out of your setback, then you need to be resilient. You need to understand this particular skill, that in tough situation how you need to respond to the situation, that is called resilience. And how can you develop resilience? She asked that, how can you I can develop resilience? I simply told her, you can develop resilience only by doing it. Without doing, you cannot do it, because you cannot learn swimming by saying swimming. You cannot get wet without entering into the water. Just by saying water, you cannot get wet. You need to experience that water, only then you are going to get wet. So in the same manner, then she said, Papa, nobody's coming, because it is a peer pressure also. I said, if nobody's coming, doesn't matter. They are giving you utmost care. They offered this same to the ninth class, 11th class and 8th class, but only 10 students turned up out of the 3000 student, total 3000. But in plus one and ninth and eighth, if I make this total of these three classes, then might be around 750 student. But out of 750 student, only 15 or 20 student, what I can see, I used to go and drop and pick her up. So here I can conclude that you need to go for a parenting session. What I have believed in last 1.5 years, none of my school, the school of my daughter, has approached me for parenting. If we can conduct Zoom classes for the students, can't we arrange a parenting session by every class teacher? And every class teacher will be having around 40 to 50 students, and 40 to 50 students, and the parents can be called up, and it can be made mandatory. And once those parents come on the Zoom, they can be given a session of around 40, 50 or 60-minute session, where it can be an interactive session the way I'm conducting this session. And there we need to tell them that their student do not need only physics, chemistry, mathematics and these all theoretical subject. They need critical thinking, analysis, they need communication, they need collaborative skills. Above all, they need resilience, and they cannot learn resilience only by doing the things the way they want to do in their comfortable position. Because what you have asked me, it's a very, very deep question, that now student has entered into a comfort zone. Earlier, they would get up at 6 o'clock, take bath, and they would run to the bus stop, catching the bus, reaching there, and studying and sitting on the benches in that hot and humid weather and doing. Now, a student is getting at 7:45 without brushing the teeth, without doing anything, going straightway to the sitting in front of the screen and start attending the classes. Slowly, slowly, as I talked about the Pavlov example, slowly, slowly that condition for 365 days. Now, students are demotivated because their intrinsic motivation has been totally curbed down. They are not allowed to go out. They are not allowed to involve. They are just sitting in front of the idiot box television. They are watching a screen. They are attending classes on the screen. So what I can suggest you here right now, we need to give them some assignments. We need to involve them into some kind of practical classes other than the subjects. There are 40 students in your class. You can divide into the subgroups, and in those subgroups you can give them some practical tasks related to the real life situation, and then those tasks can be given, and then afterward, after 1 week, after 2 weeks, or after 3 weeks, ask them to submit their reports. Catch few liters out of them. For example, these are the student of 6 of 7 batches of 6 8 students, and then some of the leaders will come out of it. Try to interconnect them. My daughter is not interacting with anyone on the phone. Few, one or two, and they are also talking a few things which are out of way. Why don't we involve students into the learning community? We need to create those learning community through our own efforts. We need to give few parenting sessions to the parents. Parents are at loss to understand what have to be done. Reason: schools are not taking the responsibility to educate parents. I have met hundreds of parents. I have asked that, have you been called for any parenting session? No, 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 no. Big no. Why? Why parents are not involved? Why communities are not formed? Why those communities are not evolved? It is our responsibility. So as a class teacher, I would recommend create a learning community and make the parents part of that learning community. And if you are living in one city, definitely those students would be coming from that area. Cash them up. Make the groups who are living together. Ask them to meet on the Sundays. Ask them to meet in the parks. I mean, there are so many parks in Chandigarh, and we have done it. And those students or those parents will come to the, give them some assignments. You need to create that kind of environment where they are not passive learner. We have made student a passive learner. We need to make them active learner. We need to involve parents also, and we need to assign them few jobs. If somebody will come to me as a school authority or a teacher and they will say, Dilbagh, we are going to organize a debate competition and your daughter has been selected and number of students are also, and can you prepare few more students, can you take up this responsibility? I would be always love to. You will find out of 40 students, you will find 4 to 5 parents who will be ready to be part of that learning community. And then you make up a WhatsApp group. On that WhatsApp group, rather than only teaching them, you can involve them for the other activities. You can talk to them about communication. You can talk to them about collaborative skill. You can talk to them about resilience, because they have been bored, my dear. I'm in those same lectures, same classes, same digital connections, and nothing, no human touch they are having. So from where they will get the motivation? They will get the motivation from the novel ideas. This is what Yuval Harari told. I read his one of the latest book. It's not right now. 21 points for the 21st century. He said that we are at a better position to defeat this virus. We have the all resources, but do we have the sense, do we have that sense to handle this situation? Power we do have, enough power we have the power of money, we have the power of technology, but we need that ability to handle this situation. And the best way to involve parents, to create learning communities, to create WhatsApp group, assign the few tasks to the student, involve them some on the other tasks. I mean, so many things related to environment, related to this pandemic, related to sports. I yesterday went for a marathon. I ran, 10 kilometers. I took 5 students along with me. Literally, it is on my Facebook. I took them to the Anandpur Sahib, and there we ran a marathon. I go every day to the ground and I make sure that at the age of 50, I run 21 kilometers. I mean, there's a community of, I think, around 400 students who are attached to me from various schools and colleges. And those number of schools from Chandigarh, Mohali, and colleges from Punjab. And that community works. And you can go for storytelling, you can go for project making, you can go for sports event, you can ask them to run around, how many skipping you did today, how many stride you ran today, did you go for a outing? Nobody is taking care of that. Are we really? No, we are not. Only syllabus. And when we teach, through digital media, syllabus can be finished in 2 months because there's nothing to do. It's a one-way communication. And syllabus is finished. What we are we engaging student? Truly saying, no, we are not engaging student. They are simply sitting on the chair or in the bed or in the quilts, sitting in front end of the what? Who? I mean, are we really engaging them? No, we need to think beyond, because it's a different time where collaboration. That's why I talk about collaboration, collaborative skills. We need to collaborate, school, parent, teacher, student, everyone, and then create learning community. Then communication. We need to communicate with the student, with the parents, with the fostered parents, with the teacher. There's hardly any communication between parents and teachers nowadays. And then creativity, and then critical thinking. So other than subjects, we need to drive students towards these things, because as far as information is concerned, ample of information is available on the Google Baba. You go and you find all the lecture of all the subjects. What we need to do? Creativity. That's very important. We need to come out of the conventional classrooms, and we need to engage students in different kind of dynamic activities. That's what I can talk with my own experience. I don't know about others, but this what I have been doing myself, engaging students in the sports activity, creativity, assignment, projects, other than the studies, book reading, and making it as interesting as I can, or as any teacher can. That's what I can discuss or give you my thoughts.
Very well spoken. And that was some of the important takeaways from this workshop. I have just penned down something very important which I would really like to implicate in my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Shelley. Thank you. So, uh, this is almost all over. Thank you very much. I mean, five or six of you really interacted. For example, Shelley ma'am or Namrita ma'am or whosoever, had it not been an interactive, I mean, it would have been a one-way show. Dilbagh is coming, delivering. He's a good speaker. Every teacher is a very good speaker. They are all orator. You, ma'am, also. Shelley, ma'am, also. Namrita, ma'am. You all are wonderful speaker of your own style. But we need to create communication. This what I have been lacking. I'm talking to a number of schools, but I will not name those schools here because, of course, reputed schools of Mohali and Chandigarh. It's a one-way teaching. Student is just sitting in the chair in front of the screen, and he's or she's coming to the place at quarter. Why don't we involve some stories? Why don't we make some Zoom room? Why don't we create them into 40 student into different groups? Zoom room, you understand, ma'am? And there are team rooms also. Those rooms you can send five, 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 five. You can divide them into few groups and send them into those rooms, and those rooms will be going into, and they will be discussing and come out with that discussion, and one of them will be representing them. And next time you will ask that those students who represented last time, they will not go represent the things. Now different student will come out, and this will give them the confidence. They will be involved. They will feel that we are also important. We can also suggest, we can also talk about the things. So in this way we can generate such kind of uh, I mean, we need to think beyond. It's a time where we need to leave that conventional classroom, and we need to regenerate the things with our own creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. Thank you very much. So in the end now, I would like to
I
only
want to add one point over here. As you said, we need to be digitally acclaimed. If we talk about blended learning, then we need to use digital tools in our teaching. Okay, as you spoke about the sharing of the children to the different rooms, when I teach English, I usually use Padlet. Okay, Padlet is a very important and very interesting exercise where the children involved. And whenever I want to conduct quiz, I use Mentimeter. Okay, so somehow or the other I use different digital tools to keep my class engaged. Otherwise, this is very correct as you said, because we have been teaching from the last 15 months and it's become so boring. Teacher coming and taking online classes and telling the children to keep their cameras on, and I don't know whether to keep most of the students, at times they keep the cameras on, at times they don't keep the cameras on. Then we have to work on different creativity, bring up some different ppts, some quizzes, or some sort of creative blend, so that the children also get an opportunity to work on the digital fields. So what I feel, each and everyone should be innovative enough to bring in digital tools to make their teaching more and more interesting and engaging, so that the children take interest, and they should not be absent from the class. Because I keep on hearing from some of my colleagues that absenteeism is there, children do not take the classes. But if the child knows, yes, in this particular subject, I will be engaging in different tools, and I will be using this technology or the other technology, the child will never be absent from your class. So that is one thing I try to implicate in my teaching. Thank you so much.
great. That's what that's what communication is. Now you are sitting in Delhi, I'm sitting in Chandigarh, and Bita Devi is in some part of the eastern part of India, and then Gurneet was from Punjab. So we all are interacting, we all are collaborating, we all are communicating. Now what a wonderful idea you have given me. I might not be knowing even, but something I have told you and you have grabbed it, and now you will be using it. This is the way we need to create the environment, the way you are already doing it. And so many of us, who are listening to us right now, they might be understanding. And now the time comes of an action, how I'm going to take action. And the way you are asking question, you are coming, you are participating, you are taking courage, you are exploring, that is also part of EQ. That is also part of EQ. So in the end, I would like to again revise few things, that emotion is simply a mental state that arises spontaneously rather than through conscious efforts, and is often accompanied by physiological and psychological changes. On the other hand, feelings are there, because after emotions, when emotions erupt, it creates feeling, and it lingers on for a different level of things. And feelings are mental association and reaction to the emotions, and mental association when integrate the emotion, and it is thinking. So thinking and emotion, when thinking and emotion start working together, it creates feeling. And feelings can be negative, it can be positive. So my message to all of you is, whenever you are anywhere, your emotional quotient is simply ability to make the healthy choices based on the accurately identifying, understanding, and managing your and others feelings and emotion. That is called EQ. And very well said by one of the participant: empathy, compassion, and love, and integration, these all things are going to create a lot of big changes in small manner. And then we need to work on the 4 C's: creativity, critical thinking, and uh, communication, and this is collaboration. So with this, we can improve our EQ. One is self awareness. How do I change myself? I need to do exercise every day, regularly. I would ask every listener who is there. I mean, still 19 are there, and we are, of course, 10 minutes over for this, but still there are 19 participants. I really, admire your spirit. I can say that number of you might be waking for last 12 hours. So I would be concluding very quickly that first, kindly do regular exercises. Second, read few books. Third, meditate if you can. Fourth, keep interacting. Fifth, as Shally ma'am said wonderfully, exploit your digital awareness. How digitally aware people can make a big difference. Next, create learning communities and involve those learning communities, because out of those learning community you will find few leaders. Those small children, they turn into leaders. As Stephen Covey says that young leaders, we need young leaders. In every class you will find 5 or 6 young leaders, and with them, after collaborating with them, you can manage new activities. Tell them to meet in the parks. They can apply all the things, I mean, mask and sanitization and social distancing. Ask them to meet in the park, 5 6 parents, join them. I'm doing this already, and send them into the park, meet there, give them some project, give them some ideas, let them exploit, let them come back and talk to you. And yes ma'am, Shelley ma'am said wonderfully well, you can involve in the storytelling also. You can involve them in some small script making sessions also. You can involve them in small play. I mean, you can even you can also go for some theater classes along with this. You can also crack jokes, you can go for sense of humor, you can tell them some beautiful and wonderful stories. So syllabus is not the tension now. The problem is, are they in right frame of mind? Are they a right frame of emotions? Are they are glued to all time the on this silvers on this digital screen? After getting out of this digital screen, are they watching television most of the time, or playing video games, or they are going out, or they are doing some skipping on their terrace, or they are, I mean, involving themselves in active sports? Tell them, my dear friends, what are you teaching in, whether you are studying in 10th standard, 11th, 12th, or ninth, any, but be involved in physical activities. play games. If you cannot play game due to corona, do individual exercise. Surya Namaskar is wonderful way. One day you can talk about Surya Namaskar. Physics teacher can talk about Surya Namaskar. Ample time, ample time. He can talk about Surya Namaskar. He can talk about skipping. He can talk about pranayam. He can talk about so many interesting things. He can share few, life, daily life incident with them, and exploit them, talk to them, and encourage them to participate in the discussion. In this manner, those emotions can be settled down. I tell you, only you, after the parents, only you are going to give them support in this tough situation. I have never thought, even my in dreams, that in 2021 again we are going to have the same experience. I accepted somewhere in 2020 December, January, that yes, till March or April we are going to face such, but in 2021 things are going to change. But no, things are worse now. Here, Shelly ma'am, Namrata ma'am, Bita Devi ma'am, we all can make a lot of difference. We all can manage our own emotion. Right now, we need to manage our own emotion. Along with our own emotion, we need to understand the emotion of our students also. They are going through lots. I mean, they have never experienced in their own lives. You would understand me, because I have seen Mandal Commission, I have seen Babri Masjid, Mandal Commission, and terrorism of Punjab. I have seen it in my youth. In 1992, Mandal Commission. Due to Mandal Commission, there was a lot of chaos in the all country. There was so many emulation. I can still remember at that time I was preparing for the IES prelims and for various competitive exams, and I could still remember those days. For 2 months, schools and college were shut down. 2 months, and it was so difficult at that time. But now it has been 15 months. नेवर एक्सपीरियंस्ड. हमारे ये बच्चे इस तजुर्बे से बिल्कुल बिल्कुल कभी भी उनको ये चीज सपने में भी नहीं थी कि क्या कभी ऐसा वक्त आएगा. दे आर कंफ्यूज्ड, दे आर एस्ट्रे, दे आर डम्प्ड. They need somebody to lead them, and who else can be better than you? Thank you. You are the leader. You are into the making leader. But I think Shalay ma'am, Bita Devi ma'am, and Namrata ma'am, and all over whosoever listening right now, we need to be a leader right now as a role model. They need it. Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, or Ritik Roshan, and these all heroes and cricketers, they are not going to make them role model. You people, we people, even I consider myself as I can, I'm running every day and I'm putting it on the Facebook, and my students are following me. Sir, you're running? I said, yeah, I'm running. You also keep running. Sir, what benefit running is going to give? I said, yeah, I don't know what benefit, but surely it will make your body and mind healthy. Come on, run. Engage yourself. I mean, help people. So such kind of things we can always motivate students. Thank you very much, whosoever is there till it's 1:45. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an engaging session and I loved it.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Now, sorry to interrupt, but okay. So, lastly, thank you very, very much, sir, respected sir, for that beautiful and informative session, radiating with information and energy. Now, lastly, about the e-participation certificates, dear educators, all of you will get a thank you mail shortly after this webinar, and within the thank you mail, you will have a feedback link. So, after filling the feedback form, all of you educators will get your e-participation certificate within 2 days. And more about our K.I.T.E.S education. So we are working really, really hard to, spread information throughout. So you guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is K.I.T.E.S Education, and we are also providing a link in the comment section. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also check out our other webinars, which are beautiful, and including beautiful and informative speakers like respected Dilbagh. Thank you very much for attending this webinar.